It's the morning of May the 29th in the Arctic Circle, and at a power plant in the Russian city of Norilsk, an aging fuel tank is about to experience a catastrophic failure.
Да? Так и я о чем говорю.
Чистая соляра.
Over the next few hours, more than 20,000 tons of diesel will flood across the Arctic landscape, leaching into the soil and polluting the rivers.
It is a catastrophe.
Environmentalists say it's likely to be the biggest ever spill in the Arctic Circle. What happened?
Там УАЗик, потом меня не отштрафуют, но.
Ты знаешь, что сейчас начнется? Камиль сейчас понаедет.
Was climate change and the melting Arctic permafrost to blame? And why was Russia's President Putin told so late?
У вас там все в порядке со здоровьем?
Way up in North Russia, you find Norilsk, the second largest city in the Arctic Circle. Some 200,000 people live here. A short drive to the west of Norilsk is a power station, Heat and Power Plant number 3. It runs on natural gas, but it has a reserve of diesel stored in these tanks. 2 years ago, inspectors discovered that one of them, tank number 5, needed major repairs. But it continued to be used. And by May the 29th, it was about to burst open.
Мазут еще воняет,
Прикинь, соляра.
According to the company, the alarm was first raised at 12:55 local time. 13 minutes later, it was reported to the Central Siberian Power Board almost 1,000 miles away. Only then, the local emergency department was informed. Next, the Russian Ministry of Energy. By evening, a state of emergency had been declared for the region. But little else is happening, and the race is on. The next day, the company says it collects 100 tons of fuel around the tank. It's a tiny fraction of the total. The rest was flowing away. It's 400 meters from the tank to the first stream, then just 6.5 miles to the main Ambania River, and only 11 miles to Lake Pasino, which feeds the Arctic Sea. Using satellite imagery, we've tracked the flow. By the 30th of May, a large amount of diesel has already gone downstream, and it's almost at the lake. Over the next 2 days, even more fuel reaches this part of the river. But it's only now that the first team of cleanup specialists is arriving. Only now that the company says it puts containment booms in the river. On June the 2nd, the company says the situation is under control.
Запах невыносимый.
But videos showing the scale of the disaster begin to circulate online.
Пожалуйста, заправляйте автомобили.
And the Kremlin sees them. We know the company says it told the Energy Ministry, but on June 3rd, in a video call, President Putin appeared furious, saying that he and national emergency officials hadn't been alerted straight away.
По вашей оценке, что произошло и почему органы власти узнали об этом только через 2 дня? Мы что, будем узнавать о чрезвычайных ситуациях из социальных сетей, что ли? У вас там все в порядке со здоровьем?
He immediately declares a national state of emergency. It kickstarts a much bigger effort. On June the 4th, flight radar shows 2 aircraft owned by the Emergency Ministry flying in. They're followed later that day by a private Gulfstream, the same type of jet reportedly used by the main owner of the company, Russia's richest man, Vladimir Potanin. And he appears the next day in Norilsk. By June the 6th, more than a week now after the accident, more teams and equipment come in. Temporary structures are appearing along the riverbanks. And by the 13th of June, 2 weeks after, the cleanup operation has grown. The company says soil is being removed and treated, contaminated water is being pumped out. But environmentalists fear the spill may already have spread far.
Fuel, which was very clearly seen on satellite images, in several days disappeared and only small portions are left at the place. So most likely it was dissolved in the water and also spilled to the sea.
So what went wrong at the plant on the 29th? It's run by a subsidiary of Norilsk Nickel, the world's largest producer of nickel and palladium. The company is now the focus of the investigation. Officials looking into the leak say the plant had been violating safety rules. The tank wasn't fit for use. And look back at where the investigator is standing. This trough is a safety feature designed to contain any leak. It clearly failed. Norilsk Nickel told us it has a huge program to significantly reduce its impact on the environment. However, prosecutors have now opened another criminal case against its employees relating to pollution from as far back as 2017. But was there something else at play? Norilsk Nickel says climate change may be to blame, that thawing permafrost beneath the plant may have destabilised the ground and caused the tank to buckle and break open. It's certainly possible. Arctic land surface temperatures in Russia and elsewhere have been significantly warmer this year. The Arctic is believed to be warming twice as fast as the global average. Siberia has experienced a record-breaking heatwave. British scientists have concluded it's almost certainly the result of human-caused climate change. The ground that for centuries has been permanently frozen, the permafrost, is melting. In places, roads and buildings have been destabilised. And not just in Russia. Here in Alaska, there are obvious signs of how the melting is having an impact.
The danger of thawing permafrost is that this ice turning into water run away and make some voids underground surface. And surface usually settles or sometimes collapse even. If it's happening below any kind of infrastructure, this make it very dangerous for stability of infrastructure.
But if this was the cause, it hasn't come out of the blue. Russian environmentalists say they've been warning of this risk since 2009.
The company, clever enough, tried to use this global climate change agenda as an excuse, but definitely we shouldn't agree with that, because definitely it's huge and many falls from corporate management level, not from climate change.
A few days after the spill, prosecutors moved in. They charged several people with negligence. They include the mayor of Norilsk for failing to organise an emergency response and the power plant director for continuing to use the tank despite safety warnings. The company says it has collected more than 90% of the fuel, and Russia's environmental watchdog is now seeking $2 billion in environmental damages from the firm. But there's no good conclusion to this story. No images of birds being cleaned up, of fish being rescued. The rivers and the land here died long ago, killed over the decades by heavy industry. The Arctic is warming. The infrastructure is aging. Environmentalists say this is yet another warning that if companies don't act, we will see more of this.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.